So with all the rumors that have been coming out for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, whether it's talking about if it's going to have multiplayer, whether or not it's going to come out on April 30th, if the multiplayer is going to be released later, a lot of crazy things have been going on with that game. And you know what? I wanted to go ahead and step away from it real quick and focus on something that we know is going to happen for sure, and that is Black Ops 4. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and make like a wish list and talk about some of the things that I want to see return within Black Ops 4, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. So just to cut right to the chase, I'm going to go ahead and start listing some of the things that I wish that would return in Black Ops 4 this coming October. And just to make it clear to you guys, this list isn't in any particular order. You know, it's not like number 10 is the least thing I want to see return and number 1 is the most thing I want to see return. This is just a list that I compiled together of 10 things that I want to see return in Black Ops 4. So coming up on number 1 for the list, I want Scorestreaks to be powerful again. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, if we take a look at World War II, some of the Scorestreaks within this game are potentially powerful, but they are still underwhelming. So what I mean by that is, for example, let's take a look at something like the ball turret gunner. It's a gunner that basically comes down on the map and it acts like a chopper gunner from something like Black Ops 1, and it potentially can get you a lot of kills if you use it right. However, it only lasts for about like 30 seconds, I think, and even then it costs way too much in my opinion, and you don't really get much out of it for how much you put into it. Another YouTuber that I frequently watch, The Mark of J, who you should go check out by the way, kind of said it in a perfect way with an example that he used. I'm going to try to go ahead and use my own example that relates to his. It's like basically putting in $50 but only getting $5 back. That's literally how I feel whenever I use some of the streaks in World War II. They have the potential to be powerful, but the way that they're handled, I don't really like it. And I hope that Black Ops 4 brings back streaks just like how Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 did, because Black Ops 3 had the same score streak system, but in a way it actually felt rewarding. Whenever I called in the Raps, the Wraith, the Talon, the GI unit, anything of that sort of nature, it actually felt rewarding to be able to call those score streaks into the map, and I want that same feeling to come back for Black Ops 4. Coming in at number 2 on the list, I want the old Pick 10 system to come back. Now, with the new division system in World War II, I do appreciate that Sledgehammer Games try something new that the other developers wouldn't necessarily go ahead and do, but at the same time, the division system that they did bring, I feel like that it was a change that wasn't really necessary. The main pet peeve that I actually had with this division system is the fact that I can only choose one basic training. That really annoyed me because I saw some of the abilities of the other basic trainings and sometimes I would want to use them, but then I would be stuck deciding on which one to use because I only have one slot to choose one basic training. And that is something that I felt like was a huge step backwards, and the only way we can go back to choosing maybe like more than one basic training or one perk is to go back to the old Pick 10 system. And not to mention, I know this might be so random, I really do miss putting suppressors on most of my weapons that are not SMGs. And the fact that I can only put the suppressor on my SMG if I'm using the Airborne Division, sometimes I really feel restricted whenever it comes to using the division system, which is why I really do want the old Pick 10 system to come back. Moving on to number 3, I want community events to still be a thing. For example, in World War II, we've gotten the Winter Siege event, we've gotten the Resistance event, and currently we have the Shamrock and Awe event going on. With these community events, it feels like the game has much more for us to do. It refreshes the game every time it kind of gets stale, and not to mention, now that we are exposed to these community events, to not bring it back for the next Call of Duty, it's gonna make the game feel like that has nothing really to do. It's gonna make the game feel dry because, like I said, once we're exposed to all of these new different events, these new content, we're gonna kind of feel like that the game has nothing to do if they don't bring it back for Black Ops 4. So that is one thing that I definitely do hope that they do, is bring back community events. And speaking of more stuff to do within the game, number 4 on the list, I want the order system to come back just like how it was in World War II. So in World War II, if you guys didn't know, if you approach this guy named Major Howard within the headquarters, he has a lot of orders that you can complete, which include daily orders, weekly orders, and even special orders. So some of these orders can help you unlock things like supply drops, armory credits to unlock certain content directly from the collections in the Quartermaster, and not to mention some of these special orders can also give you a direct pathway to earn some of the new weapons. Recently, Sledgehammer Games hasn't been doing that. Instead, they've been giving us things like 2x heroic bribes or uniform bribes or anything like that, but at the same time, they still give us direct pathways to earn some of these new content through the order and contract system, which I forgot, by the way, to mention. I also want the contract system to come back with the order system and basically allow players to directly earn these new content instead of locking it behind like a slot machine, just like how it was back in Black Ops 3. I don't want that system to come back. I want something like the World War II system to keep moving forward so that it can stay consumer friendly with some of the players that have been loyal to Call of Duty for such a long time. At number 5 on the list, I want everything to be there on launch day. I can't tell you how annoying it is to see how we're so far into the Call of Duty World War II life cycle and we still haven't gotten some of the things that we were promised, such as the paint jobs and even the flag gun events. I understand that some people have gotten it because there are videos on YouTube that show people getting this event, but it still hasn't been coming up quite frequently for me personally. I've been chilling in the headquarters quite a while sometimes, and I still don't get this flag gun event coming up in my headquarter. And speaking of headquarter, there are people that are living maybe outside of the US or the UK, somewhere like in the Middle East, which is pretty cool to see how people still play Call of Duty there, but they still don't have their headquarters populated. To see all of this happening while being so far into the Call of Duty World War II lifecycle, it seems really disappointing. It just goes to show that some studios shouldn't make promises that they know that they can't live up to on launch day, but at the same time, Treyarch has released everything that they have promised within their games on launch day, such as the paint jobs within Black Ops 3, and probably even more stuff that I can't remember, but I know that Treyarch is really good whenever it comes to releasing all of their content on launch day. But seeing how World War II hasn't been doing so hot when it came to that, as well as Infinite Warfare, and on top of that, Black Ops 3 continue to add more content within their games, I hope that it didn't take away the focus from Black Ops 4, and then we end up having the same situation like we did with World War II and Infinite Warfare, where some of the features don't come on launch day. So that's one thing I'm kind of nervous about, but we'll just have to see what happens on launch day in October. Coming up at number 6, I want to have systems that feel much more rewarding for players who grind out the game, such as reaching Master Prestige or something along the lines of that. You know, it gets kind of annoying to see how someone can reach something like Master Prestige and they don't really get much out of it. I know World War II has been lacking that because there are a lot of YouTubers who have already covered about the fact that they've reached Master Prestige or Max Social Score rank and haven't really gotten much out of it, and if they did get something, it didn't feel rewarding enough. If a player has put in so much time and effort into your game, he or she should feel rewarded, and that's one thing that really does need to come back. So that's a very short thing on the list that I really want to mention, but they really need to bring systems where it feels rewarding for players who spent a lot of time on their games. Number 7. This one is very interesting and it's something that I just thought of while making this video, but it would be really cool to see this come. I want to see wager matches come back, such as One in the Chamber, Sticks and Stones from Black Ops 1, but with crypto keys. Now, I don't know if they're going to bring crypto keys back, but I'm pretty sure they're going to bring it back in another form, just like how Armory credits came or parts came in Modern Warfare Remastered. But how cool would it be if we can take some of our crypto keys or whatever currency they want to make in Black Ops 4 and actually bet on them and gamble with them through wager matches? And we haven't seen wager matches come back since Black Ops 1, which was ages ago. So for something like that to come back and for players to be able to bet on their crypto keys and maybe earn more crypto keys through winning matches, the player not only will feel rewarded for being able to do well within the game, but it will give them an incentive to want to keep playing, and overall it'll just be an enjoyable mode. So if Treyarch is looking for any last minute ideas, this is one thing that they should definitely try implementing. Number 8 on the list are the maps. Now, I want more dynamic maps. I want maps that have verticality. I want maps that have life in them. For example, in World War II, if we take a look at maps such as Point du Hoc or something like Aachen, it seems very small. It feels like there's really nothing much to do. But when we look at other games such as Modern Warfare Remastered, we have maps like Crossfire, Backlot. They have verticality in them, and overall it just feels like there's so much more to do with those maps versus maps like in World War II. So it would be pretty cool to see, you know, Black Ops 4 bring back maps like Terminal, Favela. So I'm not really saying that they should copy those maps exactly, but get some ideas from them. Look at Favela, for example. There was so much verticality in that map, but it felt perfect for a 6v6. Once again, I'm not saying they should copy these maps or bring them back again or remake them, but they should take some inspiration from maps like those and try to implement them in Black Ops 4. Coming in at number 9, it would be pretty cool to see something like the headquarters come back. Just imagine for a quick second, Treyarch and their own version of the headquarters. There's so many cool things that they could possibly do, especially since they're most likely going to be in the modern or near future era. It would be so cool to see a headquarters with that kind of theme going on, and who knows, they can even bring back more and new different things that wasn't in World War II's headquarters. So it would be pretty interesting to see Treyarch try to take their own shot at the headquarters, and it could be the new thing for Call of Duty for many years to come. And finally, the last thing on my list, coming in at number 10, I hope to see those who purchase the season pass to be able to earn new content such as weapons immediately, just like how they did in Infinite Warfare. To me, this should be a must because, first of all, Call of Duty has been getting a lot of money now through microtransactions, through supply drops, so much money to where I feel like that they should even make DLC maps free for us. I mean, how much more money do you really need when you're making so much off of supply drops alone? But anyways, if they bring back the system like it was in Infinite Warfare, where all the season pass holders just get the new weapons right away, it'll actually feel worth buying the season pass. I haven't personally bought the season pass for World War II, and honestly, I don't feel like I'm missing out on much, especially since 3 of the maps are going to be new maps. 1 is going to be specifically for the new war game mode, which I really don't play as much, and then 1 map dedicated to zombies. And personally speaking, I'm not really a big zombies fan, but I would still much rather prefer 4 new multiplayer maps and 1 zombie map versus the situation like it is in World War II. So, like I said, when it comes to season pass holders, they should get the special treatment because they're the ones who went out and bought a $50 season pass on top of a $60 game. No excuses to why they shouldn't be getting the new content right away. But overall, you guys, those are the 10 things on my list of what I want to see come back in Black Ops 4. Do you guys agree with my list? Or is there anything that you would like to add onto the list yourselves? Comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, you guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload. Follow me on my social media to stay connected, and I will talk to y'all on the next one. Bye.